So, I just found out less than an hour ago that my cousin was killed last night in a car accident, which is part of the reason why I'm doing today's Let's Talk. I'm sure we've all heard the horror stories. I'm sure that there are plenty of you who've personally been impacted um, when someone doesn't drive safely, whether you've been involved in an accident, have been responsible for an accident, or have known and possibly lost loved ones in an accident. Um, all I know about this is that she was a passenger and it happened last night in the county. Um, the one thing that I've noticed for a few weeks now is that lately it seems like people have forgotten how to drive safely. Um, my boss and I, on our way to and from house calls, have almost been sideswiped by other vehicles. And we don't drive a small vehicle, we drive a mobile hospital. Very hard to miss. And yet, people have almost sideswiped us. I've noticed people drifting across lane lines a lot more frequently, speeding, not using their signals, and cutting right in front of people when changing lanes. I I want to emphasize the importance of driving safely, not just for me, but for everyone. You can't go out there expecting any other driver to drive safe. You have to be the one to drive safely because that's all you can control. But if you drive safe, you know that you are the better driver than someone who is not driving safely. And driving safely is common sense. Buckle up, drive sober, don't drive when you're tired, eyes on the road, um, you know, you use your turn signal, obey traffic lights, speed limits, traffic signs, move over and slow down for emergency vehicles, stop fully at stop signs, maintain a safe distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, and maintain constant awareness of your surroundings. You know, I don't, I don't, my purpose of this is not to scare anyone. It's just to talk and remind you that if you, or not necessarily you, but if anyone is not driving safely, they're playing with not only their lives, but other people's lives as well. And again, it's a lot of common sense. Driving safely really isn't that hard. I know there's quite a bit to remember. I admit to sometimes forgetting to use my turn signal when I'm turning. But, and I admit to sometimes I miss a red light. That happens. No one's a perfect driver. But we can certainly work to be close to perfect. Not only for ourselves, but for our loved ones. I'm I'm not showing my face today because you don't need to see me like this. I don't. It's not that I don't want to be seen. I mean, I'm always wearing that mask anyway, but still, because this isn't about me. It's about basically everyone. Because, when there's a car accident, it's not just the people in the cars who are affected, it's their loved ones and the first responders and their families and passersby and the media and people watching the media, and it it never ever stays, well, I shouldn't say never, it very seldom stays isolated. It can spread quickly through an entire community. Um, and it affects a lot of people. It impacts a lot of people. Um, and it scares people and saddens them and stresses them. And given what's going on in the world right now, people don't need that added stress. I know me talking about this isn't going to magically solve the problem. It's going to do very little. But to reach out to you and to get anyone who will listen thinking about it and being more aware and being more conscious and conscientious and courteous and starting this conversation, it will spread. It will spread. Maybe not quickly, maybe not far, but it will spread. And the purpose of my Let's Talk videos are education. And I think this is a great opportunity. Well, maybe great isn't the best word, but it's certainly an opportunity to help educate, even just a little bit. Again, driving safely isn't really that difficult. I know we can't all do it all the time. There are things that we forget. Sometimes we have to drive even when we're tired. Me personally, I'm terrified of driving, but I do it because it's a necessity. If I could, I would ride my horse everywhere. But in this modern age, it's not feasible and it's not safe to do that. Not safe for me, not safe for my horse, not safe for other people. It, it's just common sense, We're taught from a young age, look both ways before you cross the street. Well, yeah, if you're driving up to an intersection, look both ways before you go across. And also look in front of you. If someone's coming towards you, you gotta be aware if they're gonna be turning in front of you. And use your turn signal so that people know if you're turning, otherwise that'll cause another accident. And there's some things that you don't think about quite so frequently. Vehicle maintenance, making sure that your car's safety features are, properly working. Headlights, taillights, brake lights, turn signals. Make sure that the seatbelt is functioning properly. Make sure that you've got enough gas, you've got enough oil. Making sure that your mirrors are in good condition and angled where they need to be, inside and out. Making sure that your windows aren't, obscured. Making sure that your tires are in good condition. And making sure that your car's parts are all working like they're supposed to. Again, that's not something that we might think about very regularly, but it's equally as important as buckling up and using your turn signal and driving sober, driving awake. Because I don't I don't want anyone to have to go through what my family's going through right now, and what other families go through on an hourly basis. And a scary statistic, when I was in high school, the statistic was that by the time we're 25, half of my graduating class would have been killed in vehicular incidents. And the attitude that some of my classmates had, it wouldn't surprise me at all, honestly. I mean, I'm sure that by now that statistic has changed with, safer cars, better driving education, people getting more serious about real life and realizing that it isn't, fun and games. And that these are actual lives and your life when you're behind the wheel. And the life of, your best buddy sitting in the passenger seat next to you, and your kids in the back seat. Like, this is real, it's serious, it needs to be addressed, it needs to be taught, it needs to be understood. Those speed limits are there for a reason. Those stop signs are there for a reason. The lights change the way they do for a reason. So just think about it. The next time that you see an ambulance driving by with their lights and sirens on, think about where they're going or where they're coming from. That could be you in there. That could be you in there after being pulled out of your wrecked car. Please, just stay safe on the roads. It's important. I don't have numbers in front of me. I can't draw on current statistics. I won't even venture a guess of it because I'm sure it's going to be horribly inaccurate. But this is real. It happens, and we need to talk about this. And we need to be safe.